Wait, is your suggestion that this was a false flag? No, wait, that's another claim that you're making. Wait, wait, please, you're jumping to another claim. Wait, please, wait, we can't. Normally, when I talk with guys like you, they start to realize they're out of their depth, and they don't stop talking because they know every additional point is another nail in their grave, okay? You claimed very stupidly that there's no... Wait, wait, please don't turn into, like, I hypocrite levels of brain dead yet. Please, God, give me a second, okay? All right, so a little bit of a preamble before we get into this. I suspect this is probably going to be a waste of time.
0% of you are subscribed. Fix that.
So you wanted to talk about the OPCW report, the chemical weapons attack on Duma, or alleged chemical weapons attack, and all of the implications and possibilities theretofore. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I guess we'll see how much of a waste of time this turns out to be. The information in favor of my side was so overwhelming and so compelling that by the end of this conversation, I legitimately believe that your continuing to disagree with me can be attributed only to mental illness or willful dishonesty. So, Bashar al-Assad is a brutal, tyrannical, far-right dictator, and he has, over the course of the Syrian civil war, engaged in many acts of barbarity against his own population, both political and military, which has led to the death of nearly 100,000 civilians attributed to him, the displacement of millions. There have been dozens of chemical weapons attacks that have been attributed to him and verified by a number of international organizations designed to engage in peacekeeping and find facts. So the to fake all of like those chemical weapons attacks beforehand would be like to assemble the evidence in such a way as to form dozens of false flags that tricked so many orgs internationally. It's like unfathomable.
Wait. Vaush. Sorry, before you continue, it's just important to get some of the facts right. You said a bunch of international groups and activist groups had confirmed all of these previous chemical weapons attacks. That's a pretty broad statement. This is actually the first time that the OPCW has ever been able to go on the ground in Syria and investigate a chemical weapons attack. And that's why this is so important. So all other previous chemical weapons attacks have usually had key evidence that was passed through these rebel groups, these Saudi-funded Al-Qaeda-linked rebel groups like Jaish al-Islam. And in addition to that, a lot of these previous attacks have been contested.
Right. So we're beginning already. So first of all, you can't really claim that you're not defending Assad when you're making the claim that numerous and highly credentialed accusations against Assad with regards to him engaging in crimes against humanity are fake. Like, that'd be saying, like, I'm not defending Hitler. I just think that Auschwitz-Birkenau was a POW camp, and the deaths there were the product of, like, Allied bombing train lines so they couldn't get food there. I mean, this isn't really what we're here to talk about. If you're one, I encourage, like, any audience member to take a look at human rights violations during the Syrian civil war. There are estimations on the use of chemical weapons that range from, I believe, 32 is the conservative number that most people use. There are some orgs that claim that it's in the hundreds. There have been many international organizations that have directly observed the use of torture, unlawful killing, the bombing of hospitals, the indiscriminate shelling of civilian areas, collective punishment, the slaughter of political dissidents, the deprivation of food and water, the destruction of key infrastructure.
What we came here to talk about today was the OPCW cover-up scandal in Duma.
A cover-up scandal is a pretty strong term. I'll put it this way, okay? The use of chemical weapons has been so significant and so extensive and so well documented that to falsely attribute all these instances to Assad would require a greater false flag operation than literally any other effort in human history. I would believe that as readily as I would believe that the existence of Auschwitz-Birkenau was faked by, like, Jewish American journalists who, like, were planted at the scene and took photos of, like, a summer camp and put, like, iron rod fences around it to convince Westerners that the Holocaust happened. Like, you can look at the evidence if you want, but again, we can only, like, go into so much. So, your claim... Oh, God, we haven't even gotten to what happened. Okay, so on April 7th, in 2018, in the city of Duma, which is about 10 kilometers away from Damascus, there was a Syrian rebel occupation of the city. The city was under heavy shelling at the time. Then the following things allegedly took place. 2 Mi-8 helicopters, which are used by the Syrian Air Force, dropped chemical weapon payloads on a neighborhood in the city of Duma, releasing chlorine gas, which killed, I think, yes, allegedly, which killed about 32 people, led to the displacement and injury of hundreds or more, which were then, they went off to hospitals and what have you.
And keep in mind that the key investigators who are on the ground in Duma, they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the helicopters that were claimed to have been seen did not drop any of the cylinders that were seen on the sites.
So what you're saying is incorrect, but we haven't gotten to that yet, okay? We'll get to that, don't worry. Wait, is your suggestion that this was a false flag? The chlorine bombs were dropped by U.S. or Syrian rebel forces? Or is your contention the same as the Russian and Syrian governments, that there was no chlorine gas released?
There's no definitive, outline as to what actually took place yet, because the investigation was stopped. The key fact-finding mission team members were forced out of the team, and they weren't able to complete their investigation. So if you read in the actual...
This is also incorrect.
The inspectors told us that there was no chlorine gas release that caused this attack.
In which
That's
report?
What the evidence showed us. The first interim report.
The
first interim draft report.
The draft report. You mean the unreleased report that was not representative of the entire opinion of all those present? The one that was drafted by the, Investigator B, the Alex character? The one that was later responded to in internal emails that weren't released by WikiLeaks until 6 months afterwards that proved there were scientific reasons why many of the claims made in the draft report were contested? That report?
We'll get to the integrity of Inspector B, and I know you have questions about that information.
So hold on again. Hold on. This is the selective credibility that I'm contesting right now. Essentially, when information lines up in a way that's inconvenient to your narrative, you can explain it away with internal bias, meddling, corruption, or with censorship. But when I say... Wait, can you wait? I know you're upset, but I need you to just hold on.
International
take it one claim. So you keep saying international experts. So were all of the people who found that there was a chlorine weapons attack. The OPCW was not the only organization at the ground on Duna, by the way, nor the other locations of chemical weapons attacks in Syria. You keep referring to international experts, buddy. The international experts have already agreed this was a chemical weapons attack.
And there was a gaping hole in the top of the building, which is where the cylinder was found. Okay, so in one of the cases,
gas sinks.
No evidence that chlorine was released from those cylinders, though. So
wait, that's another claim that you're making. Wait, please. You're jumping to another claim. My claim is that my story is consistent with an explanation as to why these people would have experienced the effects of pulmonary edema quickly, because they were in a contained environment and because they died in an area where there would have been minimal ventilation because chlorine gas travels downwards. It's heavier than air.
Unless you can concoct a situation in which these victims were just running around in the building and somehow the windows were, there's no evidence that the windows
chlorine
were shut.
Gas sinks.
Or that if you can prove to me that chlorine came from those cylinders, this would be a different scenario.
We haven't gotten to that claim yet. The claim you're making right now is that if chlorine was released, we can't. Normally, when I talk with guys like you, they start to realize they're out of their depth, and they don't stop talking because they know every additional point is another nail in their grave, okay? We need to get point by point. We're like 1/20th of the way through this. I did way too much reading on this to let you get away with only being owned on 1/10 of the points that I read up on. So with all that said, can we get back to the original question? How did corpses with foaming mouths get there?
I would love to get back to that original question, but your premise...
You didn't even answer it. Why are there corpses with foam? So, with that being said, what about the numerous witness reports of the helicopter?
What regarding what?
The existence of the helicopter, the two helicopters that flew in the air over Duma.
You allege that the helicopters dropped those alleged chemical cylinders.
Wait, hold on. You're mixing up claims again. You're getting confused. So I'm contesting a defense that you've made. You claimed.
Is that not what you alleged?
You claimed very stupidly that there's no... Wait. You can't... Wait. Please don't turn into, like, hypocrite levels of brain dead yet. Please, God, give me a second, okay? You claimed...
Drop the cylinders, right?
Oh, no. It's already happening.
No, is that what you allege?
So you claimed that Assad would have no reason to bomb Duma, but they were currently shelling Duma. So
I said they would have no reason to bomb with chemical cylinders.
You didn't say that, actually. You just said they would have no reason to send helicopters on a bombing run.
They have no reason to bomb with chemical cylinders, which is what you allege.
Wait, no, you didn't actually say that. You said they would have no reason to send helicopters in a bombing run. So you're saying they did have reason to send helicopters in a bombing run? They did have reason to do that?
No, they have no reason to drop chemical cylinders.
We're not talking about chemical cylinders yet. We're talking about the helicopters, okay? Hold on. So you're saying then that they did have a reason to send helicopters on bombing runs. Not chemical bombing runs, but a bombing run. Because they were already shelling the city.
Syria, the Syrian government had a long history of shelling Douma in an effort to regain control. But what you are alleging is that chemical cylinders were dropped there.
So again, we're not talking chemical cylinders yet. We're just talking about the act of bombing with a helicopter, which you said they didn't have a reason to. So again, for like the 5th time, you believe then that Assad did have reason to bomb with helicopters, considering he was currently shelling the city, just not with chemical weapons. But you do believe he had a reason to use helicopters to bomb the city. Not with chemical weapons, but just with conventional armaments.
Not necessarily, but the allegation is that those helicopters dropped chemical cylinders.
I know that. Can we take it one claim at a time instead of you trying to run from this one by jumping to the next one? Why would they not have a reason to run helicopter sorties over Douma when they were shelling the city?
Helicopters dropped chemical cylinders into the buildings. That is the principal claim.
No, the principal claim we're on right now is whether or not they would even have a reason to bomb the city. So they were already shelling the city. So did they have a reason to bomb it as well? This is yes or no.
Long history of shelling the city. Yes.
They were currently shelling the city.
They had a long history.
They were currently... Wait, are you shorting out right now? They were currently, on that day, April 7th, 2018, bombing the city, shelling the city. And you said they would have no reason to run a helicopter sortie. Quit running to other points, dude.
Cylinders were dropped from those helicopters.
Oh my... Are you broken?
That's your claim. That is your claim. Are you broken?
You need to answer this one, and then we can move to the chemical weapons. Do you believe the Assad government would have had a reason to run a helicopter sortie over that city? You said they didn't, but they were shelling the city at the time.
Not necessarily, but your claim is that...
Wait, why not? Answer that. Why not necessarily? Why would they not be willing to bomb the city when they were currently shelling it and have bombed it many times before?
Your claim that we are here to debate is whether or not those helicopters dropped...
Oh my god. Dude, you can't make spurious claims and then get mad when I call you out on them. If you made the claim, you should be able to defend it. You made the claim that there's no reason for them to run a helicopter to bomb the city, okay?
Okay, so let's talk about the chemical cylinders.
Okay, so you're acknowledging then that the Assad did have justification or like a reason to send helicopters to bomb Douma because he was already shelling it and he's bombed it many times before and there's no reason to contest that.
Not necessarily.
What? Then can you justify that claim? Well, are you just saying it to like reflexively defend Assad? Are you like between his like legs right now? Like why are you making claims and then refusing to defend them?
Because it could have been. I don't know. That's not the investigation, and I'm not going to allege to know this.
Okay. So you'll make claims, and then when called out on them, you'll be like, well, I don't know. What was I saying exactly?